It's a great honor and pleasure for me to be here today. I think that recently we spent a lot of time chatting about the weather, the traffic, or what we've done last Sunday. That's the reason why today I'd like to talk about something we're all running away from, about the lacks and the absences, about all that is missing. I had a film-like childhood, a yard that magically gathered all our friends, actors, directors. I didn't have any children from friends actually, because I was part of the company only pretending to be sleeping on a camp bed next to a table. And in those years I didn't feel any anxiety at all. I'm 21 now and I'll do really anything to feel that calmness and serenity again. But the reason why we managed to get out of the hole where we were stuck in has nothing to do with the carefreeness that we have once felt. In my case, the reason are 11 years measured in nights in which I had enough time to think about all that is gone. Suddenly on 26th of September 2002, my father flew away and his presence turned into an eternal heavy black absence. I was asking myself why? Why me? Why didn't it happen to any other child from the neighborhood? 10 years later, on another 26th of September, I was presenting my second book. I've always thought that life is making jokes with certain dates. Now I know why it happened to me, but it really took me a long time to realize that actually every absence and every lack lead to success, and what we shall do it, despite all the difficulties, is to turn the pain and the suffer into strength and success, because that's the only way we can get out of the darkness. That specific sadness that comes along after every battle we win, big or small, is due to having no one to share the joy with. Lately I've been all alone in some of my most important moments, and there was anyone to wipe off my sweaty hands, because when I'm worried, as I'm now, my hands are sweating. And that's all sadness. It would have been happiness if instead of a phone, I was holding a hand. And due to this habit, we have forgotten how to touch each other, and we started doing it in a really, really stupid way. We have forgotten how to flirt, how to laugh. Of course, there are moments when we could just build little wall towers and hide our beloved ones. In those moments, we are both happy and satisfied, and that's a rare and precious gift. Because having no one to share the success or the victory with immediately turns you into a sad person, even sadder than Pamela Des Barres, the world's most famous groupie, when Mick Jagger breaks up with her. But luckily, lost somewhere in the flower power of the 60s, Jimmy Page was waiting for her. And I doubt she had any time to suffer or to despair. She just left love create them, as the poet Julio Cortázar once said. And then she wrote a book. She called it Boyan, for example. That's my book. And that's how the absence led her to success. And in that case, she was both happy and satisfied because she wasn't alone. Recently, we lose ourselves in redundant adjectives and comparisons. Thus, we have less time for living. We hide our sadness and we hide our suffer behind superficial photos of our first morning coffee, or behind lonely selfies with an Oscar-like makeup on it, when actually our daily destination is nothing but the supermarket. I can't actually give you any good pieces of advice because it's me who needs them. And I can't make you a list that could guide you through the process of overcoming an absence. But I could tell you that actually you just don't need to listen to all those people who are saying, wake up every day at 6 o'clock in the morning and tell yourself you're beautiful, you're amazing. Really, who does it? Send the first message that springs up to your mind when you have already drunk a glass of wine. It's an act full of admiration towards life, and it's far more natural. However, I could unfortunately tell a lot about the dark side of the absence, the one that no one mentions, because recently everyone is talking about the second step, the overcome, the new personality. We keep saying nothing about the sadness and the suffer. Despite my big, great, extraordinary family, I'm very insecure because I have one parent only. I get very worried when a person I love doesn't answer the phone. I'm worried about the way I look, about my virtues, about the strength of my love. I hate being alone, and I like being here in Bulgaria with the people I love. Absence has taught me that one is useful only where he feels happy. And I don't want to live in a certain place only because nowadays being abroad is considered trendy. I don't want to be in a place where my soul would feel sad and empty. I want an equality between here and there. And I want the eternal war between an absence and the presence actually to be over, because it confuses us and it slows our lives down. I've been dreaming about having a different life many, many times. A life like, you know, those on Facebook with bunches of flowers, breakfasts, brunches, and of course kittens. A life surrounded by the same people, but still a different one. Windless. Maybe I had forgotten that actually every lack and absence lead us to these two great gentlemen. Due to an absence, you may be afraid to dance, even to walk. Absences create our fears and keep feeding them. Due to the absence of in my life, I, for example, started hating my neighbors because they have a nuance in their look that makes me feel different. You suddenly turn into a black canvas and everyone is staring in you, judging you. Just everyone is giving you 100 useless pieces of advice and no one really tries to understand you, and consequently, he gets distant to you. No one imagines that we all have different scales, different visions of happiness. That if I want to open a shop on the Mexican shore in Zihuatanejo, where Tim Robbins from the Shawshank Redemption goes after jail, it doesn't mean I failed in life. No, it means I did, because I did what I wanted to, and I'm both happy and satisfied. Absence has taught me that I should very carefully think about all that I want, because the frenetic rush of looking for a substitute is very, very tiring. I get very sad and furious at the same time when I see how people are trading with the other people's sadness. You know, recently the market is flooded with books that teach us how to live a better life. But life is not a fitness program, it's not a plan. Everyone is talking about the second step. No one talks about the road anymore. No one mentions the word religion, the humility, the right to abandon that same religion. We all want to forget the moments when we were down on our knees, crying, all alone, praying. And I personally want to forget the urge I felt to destroy my father's grave, because I don't believe that he's lying there and that it's all over. We don't talk about the hatred, the fruit of our loneliness. We say nothing about the changes we find in ourselves years after. We don't talk about the demons in our souls, and these demons were born from something we truly miss. And only time, dedication, and a lot of hard work will send these demons away to the places in our souls, where no one could find them, and what is left for us is to pray that the pieces they have cut away from it before will satisfy them for longer. So, I think that we could live a better life if we just could talk about all these things openly, without any prejudice. For example, I'm being very, very unhappy in Milan, not because I don't like the city or the subject I chose, but because everyone I love is far away from me, and everyone I'd like to share the beauty is far away from me. It's not with me. And my sadness is a fruit of my loneliness. I wish we could talk about what we miss, about the suffer we feel, about the lack of love. We shouldn't be ashamed. I think that we shall finally stop judging and stop basing our opinions on rumors, because no one actually knows what one soul is hiding and what one person is missing. We don't know nothing. We shall stop globalizing the happiness. I know that's the biggest cliche I could ever say, and I'm very ashamed of it, but it's not a product. The happiness is not for sale. It's stolen moments, intimacy, Sunday, sunny afternoons when at first sight nothing really happens, but that's the essence of life, and that's what we truly and painfully miss afterwards. If there is something I really want to tell you today, is that actually every absence leads to happiness. I don't know how, I can't forecast its shape, I can't tell you when will it come. I can't tell you if you're going out of the battle as a hero or as a monster. I can't and actually shouldn't make you pay more attention to your beloved ones because that's a need. But I'll be very glad if I manage to bring you back to a moment when you were endlessly happy. And I'm truly begging you not to try to justify or to explain your happiness, because your happiness will come as a healer, as a catcher in the rye. And let it be yours only. Let it be personal, intimate. I strongly doubt that our Pamela Desbarres has ever lost any time in useless explanations. I come back to the first years after my father's death. My mother, together with a friend of her, opened a shop, and I've been working there for the last 12 years. And every single summer, 12 hours a day, it's a really hard job, and everyone was blaming her and keep on blaming her that she has terminated my childhood and that she wasn't allowed to do it. But actually, they don't know that my childhood end came in the moment, in the day my father got sick. And they often say that that was a lack that led to many inconveniences. But actually, these inconveniences were in their head only, because they have never seen the happiness and the true satisfaction from the good work every night, every single night. We sit and chat and drink wine on our terrace watching the lighthouse blinking light. And for me, that's happiness. Everyone I love, my mother, my sister, my brother, my nephews, my uncle, my grandmother, my boyfriend, my friends, everyone I love, to be in a range of 150 meters away from me. And that's a kind of happiness that could never be posted on Facebook, actually, because it's been awaited, it's been suffered, and it's far too good to be shared. I think we shall not trust those who are trying to walk in our shoes, because they will never know what it's like. They will just won't understand us. And consequently, in that moment, we often run into our own temples. I think that if we are persistent enough, but persistent in a very stupid way, when everyone is saying, stop, don't do it, we can rule over what we miss. And we could just let the light enter through the wounded place, and that light will lift us high above, and we can start living again a happy life. We can never overcome what we miss. And it's gonna be, I don't know, a habit to live with it. We can never forget it, but we can have a happy life. And I'm convinced, I strongly believe that somewhere behind all the unkissed lips, all those undrunk bottles, behind every plane we're forced to take or those we don't take, behind every hour tomorrow, every hour hesitation, every moment we refuse just to go down on the street because our friends are waiting for us, behind every hour fear, behind every other people's happiness concept we try to adapt to our life, there is a plenty of happiness lying there. And every absence that turns into a presence, actually makes you feel happy in a way that is far beyond any comparison. Just imagine, it's Christmas Eve, it's 4 in the morning, you're on the beach in Varna, dancing with a glass of your wine, glass of wine in your hands. Al Green songs are playing, and you're carrying the whole summer in you. You know, there is nothing missing. You don't even want to take pictures, maybe because you're dizzy, it doesn't matter, but it's all there where it shall be, and that's happiness, that's the essence, that's something we could never write. I could never write. I think that I'm always thinking about what life would be like if there was someone to tell us that everything was going to be fine in the moments when we were going through a hard time. The only person who managed to convince me that everything was going to be all right was and hopefully is my mom. In that same 2002, she lost her father too, and we had some serious financial issues, but we made it, and we keep on making it. And actually, my mom will make a far more better TED talk than me. And okay, today, I was invited in the role of a young writer with an experience to share, but I didn't do anything similar. because I'm still in that phase of my life when I'm trying to soak up the experience of the others. In the 90% of the time, I'm actually a lovely, smiling shop assistant in my mom's shop, and not so lovely art direction student in Milan. And in the other 10%, when I'm actually a writer, I could blush and I would say nonsense. So let's remain, I don't know, somewhere here in these 90% when I feel more secure. And I would like to tell you a few last things. In the Benini's movie, The Tiger and the Snow, there is a very beautiful story about an Arabian man and his extremely beautiful wife. But suddenly she gets sick of smallpox and her face remains covered with scars. From that moment till the day she dies, her husband pretends to be blind so that his wife never actually gets to know that he has seen her lost beauty. I think that what we're truly missing nowadays is magic, an absence of love, of winds, waves, emotions, feelings. So please just search for that harbor that is waiting for you. That's what is written in my head, actually. And go to that sea that makes you float. What we miss changes the way we resist to the wind. Let life amaze you, and please be somewhere where you're truly happy to be, and keep searching for the great beauty. Thank you. Thank you.